Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this video is part of the knife throwing games, drills, exercises, tests and evaluation playlist. More precisely is evaluations part. How to evaluate basic drill number 1 and basic drill number 2. Now if you got so far into the video and then you're asking yourself what is basic drill number 1 and number 2, look up the videos or relevant videos within this playlist. There is one on each, very detailed. Okay, now so we also have to talk about or establish that not everybody has the need to write down their numbers, okay, and then calculate out the stick rate percentages. Most people are quite happy to do this by feel. If it feels that they making progress, if it feels they are okay, then they are okay. Some people have to write it down or would like to write it down, and I will explain in a minute why is that sometimes easier. Now if you're going by this, what I call as the feeling method, if it feels okay, you are okay. Still remember, you want to get to that 60, 70, 75% stick rate before you change the parameters of the drill. Now the reason I say this, you don't need to get to 100%, and I actually have a whole video on explaining my ideas behind the percentages I use. You don't need to get to 100%, you don't need to be perfect. Once you're relatively good, move on, because you're going to keep going back to those distances anyway. Okay, so bear that in mind. Now also, if you into this category of I don't need to write it down, there's nothing wrong with that. Just please be brutally honest with yourself. Okay, it is really easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we are better than what we actually are. Okay, and I had fell into this trap previously. Okay, not by much, by about 10-15%, but once I started writing it down and calculating it, and I was slightly disappointed because I thought I was better. It's at the end of the day, nobody knows. I mean, you guys know it now, so basically everybody knows. It just was, for me, was a bit of a kind of smack on the nose that okay, I was wrong. That's all. Okay, so there's, on the other hand, there's nothing wrong with it. There is no major consequences. The earth hasn't stopped spinning. It's all good. Anyway, if you have the need to do a proper calculation on basic drill number 1, then this is my suggestion. Okay, and I have prepared this high quality special effect table. Okay, yes, it's a piece of paper with lines drawn on it and handwritten notes. I don't do computer generated special effects. Now if you use paper with lines, or pre-lined paper, it's easier, but a blank paper also works exactly the same. On the side here, that's your distance, and up top across here, that's your number of sets. Okay, I suggest to use either a 5 set table or a 10 set table. That makes the calculations much faster and easier and more precise. Now on the side with the distance, I go distance number 1, that has 3 lines, distance number 2, 3 lines, distance number 3, 3 lines, and there's a bit of a gap, and then distance number 3, 2, 1, also 3 line each. Distance number 1 is the closest and 3 is the furthest. I think it's important to mark down close to like all the particular distance and where you're starting from. Okay, now all you do is once you throw, say you're doing set number 1, distance number 1, you basically either put a tick or a number 1 when the knife sticks in the target and a 0 when it doesn't. Then just write down the 1s and 0s and 1s and 0s, yes and no's, yes and no's. You can use yes and no, whatever. I mean, the marking doesn't matter as long as it represents something. Okay, and then you just carry on, write everything down as you go through the drill. And then when you do your second set, again, just do it. Just write down everything. Okay, now this is where then you add up. This is where the 5 and a 10 set becomes easy, because with the 10 set, every set worth 10%. So if you're adding up your number of sticks and you have 5 sticks, that means you have a 50% stick rate. Now if you have a 5 set table, then every set worth 20%. So if you're adding it up and you have 3 sticks, that's a 60% stick rate. Okay, so it's really easy to see if you are at that below or above the 50%, that magic 50% line, or where are you in the lines of. Okay, now I highly suggest, unless you get to that at least 60% stick rate, don't start incorporating basic drill number 2 into your training. I mean, this is not school, so I'm not telling you what to do. This is just a suggestion. Especially, and this is where the separation comes handy, because the first line always represents the first throw from that distance. If those throws consistently 50% or lower, then stay with this drill until they become better. Okay, because the first throw is when the change of distance happened. The second and the third throw is to make the muscle or the body movement the same, but the first throw is the distance. Okay, so hope it's kind of explaining itself. Okay, now if you decided, yep, it's time to move on to set number basic drill number 2, and you would like to help with evaluating it using very similar table. Okay, again on the side here the distances 1, 2, 3, 1 is the closest, and then 3, 2, 1. So going away from the target, getting closer to the target. And up top, sorry, my special effect is folding. The pages are folding in the book. Okay, and up top you got the number of sets, 1 to 10 or 1 to 5. And basically when you throw, just go a 1 or a 0, a yes or a no, whatever, for a stick and no stick. At the end of the, once you've done all what you wanted to do, you add them up on the top with the yeses and nos. And if at any particular distance, and this is gonna be a distance related, it will show up if any distance are better or worse, or actually will highlight if one particular distance is a problem for you. Then you can go back to basic number 1 and highly just practice that distance or focus on that particular distance. And the reason you want to do a increasing distance, decreasing distance, because it will show up. Sometimes on the increasing distance number 3 would be okay, but when you're starting at number 3 position, it won't be okay. So then you know that, hold on, going towards the target, starting from far away, that is my problem distance. It's really easy to, to evaluate yourself this way. Now, confession time. I never ever done a paper evaluation on basic drill number 1, because for me that was always just quite easy to see. If I had to pick up 2 knives or 2 implements from the floor, I haven't got that distance, okay? And maybe I was a bit harsher on myself than I should have been, but that's the way I looked at it. If I only picked up 1 at the distance, then I was okay. But I regularly done, and I'm still doing, paper evaluation on basic number 2 or basic drill number 2. And the reason being, because that way I can just relax and focus on my throwing instead of keeping in mind of where I am in a way of on the second distance. Now this is my 3rd drop or whatever, that takes up too much, I would like to say too much memory space, but not really memory space, but it adds an extra set of oh my god, don't want to lose the count, where I was, is it number 3, is it number 4? Nah, I don't have to worry about it. I can just focusing on being relaxed and throw, and I just mark down the relevant sets, yes or no, stick or no stick, and at the end I just adding it up, okay? So it gives me a very clear and instant feedback, okay? Now, confession number 2. I don't do this at every training session, okay? I make a kind of special day out of it. Excuse me. Now, what do I mean by this? I make it as a test day. So I don't preset the day week before. Just kind of, I feel like, I think I'm okay. I would like to test it now. And then I come to my range with that in mind, that today I'm going to do a test on such and such. I mean, for example, basic drill number 2. I have this mindset, I'm going to do a test. I prepare as I'm going to do a test. And doesn't matter how good or how bad it is, it's a one test, one evaluation, it's kind of one life, one chance type of thing. Don't repeat it, and I can see how well I done or how badly I done. What does this achieve? Why does it helpful for me? It kind of gives me a little bit more. I have to focus, yes, and yet I am a little bit in test mode, like a little bit more worried. Am I going to miss it? Am I going to muck it up? Because there's no retakes. There is no second. Like during a training session, if I do one of these tables and I get halfway through it and I can see it, it's like, oh my god, this is really not going good. I can just opt to, okay, I'll start a game. But in a test day, I can't do that. So it really gives me a unbiased feedback of where I am on that particular day. Because remember, even with tests, if you do it this way, you can have a bad day or you can have a really good day. So it's not the undisputed forever whatever record of your awesomeness or how badly you've done, but it is a test, and that's what I enjoy about it that way. Okay, so now again, just recap, until you get, I would say 60-70%, because that's a two stick out of 3 knives, or above, you get above 75%. Definitely once you get to there, definitely change the parameter of the drills, and you know what the parameters I'm talking about because you watched the other 2 videos. Change and move on, carry on. You don't have to get to 100%, you don't have to get to perfection, because you will revisit it anyway. So, wrapping up the video, hope it helped some people or at least you went like, oh my god, he's making it so complicated. In either way, hope it helps some people, and yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.